And welcome to another episode of Experts Speak. I'm Michael Delana, and today I am talking with Mostafa Hosseini. And Mostafa, number one, two things. You've got the most interesting name of any guest I've ever had, so I appreciate that. And number two, thanks for squeezing me into your calendar. I appreciate that also.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and it's a pleasure to be here. I look forward to our conversation.
It's going to be a fun conversation because you do something that I don't do and that a lot of people don't do. So I'm really stoked about it. So Mostafa has he runs a company, a call center, specializing in fixing the follow-up problem. And we want to talk about that. We want to dive into that. But first, give us a snapshot of what's been your journey to bring you to do what you do?
100%. So I went to school for marketing. Then while I was in school, I started a marketing agency, ran it from 2010 to 2018. We did A to Z digital marketing for our clients. And we reached a point where I was offering so many services. And I read the 80-20 principle by Richard Koch, which kind of changed the way I think and the way I run my business. So almost overnight, I dropped the agency and I kept the coaching and the consulting aspect of my business. Now, almost at the same time, I started teaching simple marketing formula, which was the essentials, the 80-20 of marketing and what was working for us, teaching people how to create a simple marketing plan.
Okay.
Now, going back, are you familiar with Dan Kennedy?
Yes.
So I learned the power of customer retention and follow-ups from Dan Kennedy and how extremely important it is, and nobody's doing it.
Yep.
So the story is that every time I ran out of cash or customers or prospects and whatnot, I would pull my hair out for a couple of days. Then I would come to my senses and I would pick up the phone. I would make a round of calls to my list of customers, prospects, and the rest of it. And on the day of or shortly after, I would get cash, appointments, referrals, introductions, and you name it. So I'm like, oh, this is awesome. We kept doing it. And I started teaching it in my course, Simple Marketing Formula. And the last module was always retention. So we went from goal setting, target market, offer, lead gen, conversion, and last piece was retention. So I'm like, people, here's the script. Here's the process. Take this, call your list. You're going to see your results today.
Yep.
And nobody would do it.
Yep.
And I'm like, people, this is not a joke. It's not like a Facebook ad. This will produce results today. And so they wouldn't do it. And I had people in my mastermind, where we helped them with implementation of the plan. And sometimes they would come and complain about sales and cash. So I'm like, look, here's a list. Here, you have a 2,000 person list. Here's the script. Call your people. They wouldn't do it. So it took me about 6 months to convince a couple of them. One week, one of them comes back and she's like, Mostafa, you wouldn't believe this. I made 5 phone calls last week and I had a 60% conversion. I'm like, awesome. This stuff works.
That's
I know.
right.
Keep going. She would not continue calling. And I'm like, what do you need to see?
That's crazy.
To keep going. So long story short, later on, we had a guy who was making calls for us and a couple of workshops. At the end, I'm like, hey, I have a guy who can make phone calls for you. Who wants an introduction? Everybody. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Then I'm like, what if we do this for you? What if we manage it for you? Who wants us to do it? Everybody. So that's how we came to existence. So we started a call center specializing in follow-ups, retention, and referrals.
Wow. Okay. You just dropped a bunch of stuff there. All right, let's just talk about that cash flow thing, because you hit on something I talk and teach my clients all the time is the follow-up. Most business owners, I think, spend 90% of their money, time, and effort on the front end. I need a new lead versus the back end. People already know, like, and trust me. Oh, forget about them. No. So you're actually over here, but you're actually doing the phone calls, doing the follow-up to help them. So that they will retain clients, get referrals, and grow their business. All right, you got to unpack that. How does that work? So let's put it in terms of a business owner. Let's pick a category. Let's say financial advisor. We've worked with a lot of financial advisors.
So the biggest problem that we solve, just like you mentioned, is the fact that most businesses have a list of prospects and customers and past customers, and they're spending a ton of time, money, and resources to find new customers while totally ignoring their existing list. The second biggest problem that we saw was the fact that some of these people, they know they should stay in touch with their list, but they don't have the time, the manpower, and the resources to do it. And most business owners and salespeople hate to pick up the phone and are afraid of conversations for some reason.
I know.
Our team does a very friendly, nurturing approach to stay in touch with the list from the moment they opt in to before and after a webinar, before and after an event, before and after a consult, existing customers, past customers. We just stay in touch with them consistently, not bugging them, like in a friendly way.
Sure.
To say, hey, how's it going? Seems like you downloaded a guide or a checklist. Can we help? Would you like to book a call with one of our people? So that's on the front end. After a webinar, after an event, existing customers, like we dial the entire list every 3 or 4 months, just to make sure that so that they know we don't forget them and we know that we're not forgetting them. And there's all sorts of opportunities that come out of that. So
wow, that's amazing, because we teach a lot of follow-up systems through direct mail, through email and things, right? I've not taught that system because it's very time intensive, it's very people intensive,
yes.
And it's very, dare I say, script intensive, right? Because you got to know what to say. Unpack that a little bit. How do you help write scripts, or what? I mean, what's the
100%? So what we do is, so we have a 3-step process. Is one, we do an assessment of their offer, their landing pages, their funnel, and the rest of it to understand and know what they do and who they serve. Then we work on creating campaigns. So we write the scripts based on the type of campaign and what segment of the list we're calling. Then we start dialing the list and staying in touch with them. So that's our 3-step process. And so depending on, let's say that you've done a webinar on how to create a book, right? Okay. So in that case, you're going to have a bunch of people that did show up, a bunch of people that did buy, a bunch of people that didn't buy, and a bunch of people that did not show up.
Yep.
So buyers, non-buyers, and no-shows. We would call all of them. Say, hey, how's it going? All the buyers, we call them up, say, hi, welcome, congratulations. Do you know someone else that might need a book? Mm-hmm. Right? And so we ask for referrals. And then the people that didn't buy, we get in touch with them. Hey, how's it going? Can I help? Have you made a decision to move forward? Yay or nay? And if they still need help on making a decision, we work on booking an appointment with one of the coaches or consultants to help them make a decision either way.
Okay. And
we do it in a very non-pushy, non-salesy way. We reach out to add that human touch to, because it's missing. The human touch is missing these days. It's a lot of clicking and sweeping through different profiles and this and that. So we're like, hey, can I help? Right? And then always asking for a referral, even if they're not qualified, because maybe the person in front of me doesn't have the money to sign up, but maybe they know someone that does.
That's right.
I never know. And then we call the no-shows. Hey, you didn't show up. Can we help? Would you like to attend the next workshop? And we just reach out and extend the helping hand and see what we could do, basically.
Wow. Putting a human touch in it. That when you said that, it just really resonated, because I teach, one of my systems that we teach our clients is a simple thank you process. 4 steps of how to say thank you in a way that nobody does, that gets tremendous response, but it's because it's personal. Mm-hmm. And when we teach it, half of our clients never do it, but the other half who do it go, wow, that was really great. Yeah, would you just do it? Doing what you do, making that personal touch, doing it in a non-salesy way, which is really critical. And y'all doing it, that's really cool, because you're right. We don't want to pick up the phone. We're too busy doing other things.
Right.
It's like having a concierge on staff who's lined up perfectly with your brand, with your message. And then, like you said, if I understood you right, if you're on the phone with somebody that, let's say they went to a webinar, they didn't buy, they didn't book an appointment or whatever, because financial advisors do workshops and seminars. They had 20 people show up, 8 booked appointments. They had 8 appointments. They made 2 sales. You're going to follow up with the 2 sales saying, hey, welcome aboard. You're going to follow up with a 6 who said, hey, you haven't made a decision yet. Anything that we didn't explain. And you're going to follow up with a 12 who said, hey, so sorry that we said something that, you didn't like or whatever. Or is there anything we can do to help? And then if they would come back and say, yeah, I really do have a question, then your team connects them with somebody at the financial advisor's firm to have that meeting because they're the experts. You're just doing the hard work, right? Did 100%. I get that?
100%.
That's like too good to be true.
Yeah,
because there's a gold mine in the database.
Yes. 100%. It's like a vault of cash that people don't open.
That's right.
They're either too lazy or they're afraid or they're, too busy. And
I call that database a dormant database. It's just lying there. And what you're bringing to the table is what I tell my clients all the time. Let's breathe life into that dormant data. Let's wake them up and let's engage them because there's money there. And what you mentioned earlier in the referrals, every one of those people, they know 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 people just like them. And the referral thing is a hard thing, right? We teach a referral system through using your books and things, but you do it a totally different way. And that's very intriguing.
I think in conjunction, it will work perfectly. It's like you ask for a referral in the book, they would call them up and ask simply, do you know someone else that might be interested in this?
Yeah.
Do you know someone else that's having the same issue as you are?
Right.
Right. And then
who'd you talk to over the weekend about your financial situation? Right. Let me put a book in their hand. Yeah. I mean, it is that fear factor of, well, I don't want to do that. That makes me feel weird if I'm the business owner, if I'm the financial professional who's not been taught to do that, but it's not them asking for the referral, it's somebody else who and you do it representing their company, right?
100%. Oh yeah. I would call and say, hey, my name is Mo. I'm calling on Michael's behalf.
Yeah.
Did I catch you at a bad time?
Yeah. There you go. And I love that. Did I catch you at a bad time? Because you always want to give people the opportunity to say, well, actually you did. I always wondered, then why'd you answer the phone? But that's another issue. We'll talk about that later. But you always ask that question. Do you have a few minutes? Did I catch you at a bad time? Right. That's awesome. What kind of results are people seeing as they work with you? I could guess, but as business owners come in, you're unearthing this gold mine that they've been sitting on. Let's talk about some of the results. What do people are saying?
So some results that we get is create recurring revenue for our customers, because once you don't stay in touch with. So here's a stat. Businesses lose between 64 to 68% of their customers if they don't stay in touch with them because the customers perceive that the business owners don't care about them. And quite frankly, if you care about your customers, you should probably stay in touch with them.
Yes.
Because they're paying your bills, they're paying your mortgage, and they are the livelihood of your business.
That's right.
And so creating recurring revenue and keeping your customers, increasing customer satisfaction rates, increasing the average lifetime value of per customer, and increasing profits. Yes. Because new lead generation is about 6 to 10 times more expensive than customer retention.
Yep.
So those are the type of results that we create for our customers.
And those are simply the numbers. What he didn't tell you is the depth of relationship, the heart value that you're going to gain from this, because again, nobody does this. You would be the only financial advisor, attorney, whatever, in your market doing this. And guess what? When they receive a call like this, guess what they're going to tell their friends the next day? You won't believe the phone call I got yesterday. It will blow them away, won't it?
100%. Like we've had confirmation calls before events when we call them up and say, hi, I'm calling, say on Michael's behalf. I just wanted to remind you and confirm the fact that you have registered for this event coming up tomorrow. Are you going to be there? And we're looking forward to seeing you there, or some version of. And then they would show up to the event. I've literally done this where I called my own event attendees, and the next day they show up, they're like, nobody ever called me to confirm the night before or a couple of days before. So it increases show up rates. They get happy. They talk about it, like you said, and the engagement goes up.
Yeah.
And when a few things like that happen, their wallets open.
It is. It is. They're touch points. And I do a lot of video touch points with my prospects and clients. But what you're doing is you're doing it in a different way. So there's different modalities, and we need to market to people with a variety of media. Sometimes email, sometimes direct mail, sometimes voice, sometimes video, sometimes, right?
Mix it up.
Mix it up. And what happens is you become omnipresent. You're everywhere. It's like, well, this guy's everywhere. Yeah. Well, yeah, but the beautiful thing is when you have Mostafa and his team doing it for you, you, the business owner, get to focus on what you want to do most, which is meet with clients. And after that, he and his staff take care of everything else. Well, maybe not everything, but most of it. It's really a cool system. I've honestly not heard of anybody else doing this, doing it for them. Well, you're welcome, because that's brilliant. How do people get a hold of you to go, okay, I want to know more. This really does sound too good to be true. How do I take the next step? What would they do?
So a couple of ways is, so maybe search for my name on LinkedIn and send me a message, and we could book the call, and or go to persyo.com/apply. That's PERSYO.com/apply. And there you can book an appointment with me and have a conversation. And I'll share with you what we can do and if we're a good fit for each other.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And we're going to have that in the show notes as well, just so people can connect with it, because I don't know, I know my audience pretty well. Their mind is probably blown right now going, what? But you can trust, because we vet people before we let them on the show, that this is something that you really need to take a look at, because there's so much money in your dormant database. And my listeners know what that is, because I talk about it all the time, that you're just ignoring it. And you're running after new. And what we're saying is go after old, because there's money there. Go after that old money. Go out. And it's not even old money. It's people showing up that registered for your seminar or 100%. Your workshop. And
it's like a warm list.
It is. And even if you could make one more conversion from every seminar you do, what would that be worth to you?
What would that look like? Yeah.
Oh my. And then you just start multiplying that over a course of months, because this is not a purple pill. This is a structured, strategic approach to growing your business, to serving your clients, and gaining referrals to their friends, neighbors, relatives, business associates, church members, and on and on and on.
100%. Like I've seen people that they say ask for a referral once when they close a sale, or once a year. But when you do it systematically through your book, through your greeting card, through your thank you system, and maybe through a conversation 3 or 4 times a year, reminding them and educating them on a referral, that's a different story.
Totally. Yeah. And when you program your clients to be thinking about you and referring you to their friends, your referrals go up. And that's the easiest sale to ever make.
Yeah. And I think a big mistake that business owners make is they wait for the customer to refer them. Yes. And they think what they do is like, and I think it may be a myth or maybe a mistake. They're like, I'm just going to continue providing amazing service and wait for them to refer to me. Well, that's a great idea, to provide a great service, which you should do anyway. But then you should also gently and nicely ask for a referral. Yeah. As I'm sure Jesus says, ask and you shall receive.
That's right. That's right. Well, this is fascinating. So we're going to have the website, the LinkedIn, everything in the show notes, and definitely reach out and have the conversation, because this is really, it's a done for you follow-up process that is in line with your company, your brand, and your business is going to grow, because these people already know you at some level, and Mostafa and his team just connect with them and add that human element on multiple touches. It's not just a one call deal. This is a multiple calls, because it's strategic. And my audience understands I talk strategy all the time. And this is a brilliant strategy. So let me encourage people to reach out to him. You're welcome. Reach out to him on LinkedIn. Reach out to him. Is it Persyo, PERSYO.com/apply, and just have a conversation. See if you're a good fit and learn from him. This is really, really cool. I'm super stoked. I'm glad that you chose to spend some time with me. And
Likewise.
it's gonna be great. So, all right, reach out to him, read the show notes, re-listen to this, and yeah, it's not too good to be true. It can actually happen for your business when you reach out to him. So have a conversation with Mostafa and see how he can help you re-engage and fix your follow-up problem.